One bronze. Paris, we're gonna rock it.
It's good to see that, women cricket is getting more excited and everybody is looking up to that.
And these stories need to be told, and they are guided by the compass of their conscience.
Good morning, Asia, and good evening, America. Welcome to another episode of Wild DNA, the weekend edition. I'm Eric Njoka. We have a lot coming up in the next 30 minutes, including updates on the Ukraine-Russia war, which is now escalating again, a bit of politics, and the latest in sports and entertainment. Stay tuned. Let's start with the headlines. Russia unleashes biggest air attack on Ukraine, killing 31 and wounding over 160 others across the country. United Nations Security Council criticizes Russian air assault. U.S. National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan declares assistance for NATO member Poland over Russian missile incident. Washington's statement says President Biden following situation closely. Israeli tank fire and aerial bombings strike southern Gaza's Han Yunis. Gaza Health Ministry claims nearly 200 killed only in the last 24 hours. India's Prime Minister Narendra Modi to inaugurate Shri Ram International Airport in Uttar Pradesh State's Ayodhya today, ahead of grand consecration ceremony of Lord Ram's idol in under construction Ram Temple on January 22nd. Pakistan confirms Indian request to extradite 2008 Mumbai attack mastermind and designated terrorist Hafiz Saeed. Adds no bilateral extradition treaty exists between the countries. And residents in flood-ravaged areas of Kashmir-strapped Pakistan appeal for assistance after back-to-back years of devastating monsoon rains plunge lives into misery. Now, at least 31 people have been killed and scores of others injured in Russian strikes across Ukraine. This is the biggest area attack since the start of the war 2 years ago. According to Ukrainian officials, schools, a maternity hospital and shopping arcades were among the civilian buildings hit in the barrage. Ukraine's military estimates that Russia fired 158 missiles and drones and 114 of them were destroyed. Russia tried to overwhelm Ukraine's air defenses across most major cities, launching a wave of Shahid attack drones, followed by missiles of numerous types fired from planes. In Kiev, people fled to the underground metro as apartment blocks and a factory were struck. Rescue workers in Kharkiv, Zaporizhia and the port city of Odessa worked to free those trapped in the debris. Multiple fatalities have been reported in the regions, with dozens injured, including children, as residential buildings were shelled. The attacks, which also saw a Russian missile passing through Polish airspace, triggered international condemnation and fresh promises of military support to Ukraine. NATO member Poland's armed forces said that an unknown airborne object, which they identified as a Russian missile, entered the country's airspace from the direction of Ukraine for 3 minutes.
Rakieta rosyjska wtargnęła w przestrzeń A Russian rocket violated Poland's airspace. Our radars traced it until it left Poland's airspace, which was also confirmed by the NATO radar systems. On the other hand, ladies and gentlemen, as technology sometimes fails, we decided to perform an on-ground verification. We sent several troops to follow the expected trajectory of the rocket to see if the radar systems were right.
Mają zweryfikować stwierdzony tor lotu pocisku, czy aby nie doszło do jakiejś pomyłki od strony technicznej.
Meanwhile, the US has declared assistance for Poland over missile incident. At the same time, according to the White House, US President Joe Biden is closely following reports of a missile temporarily entering Polish airspace. The White House added that National Security Advisor Jake Sullivan discussed the attacks in a call with his Polish counterpart Jacek Siewiera. Meanwhile, the United Nations condemned the attacks and said that they must stop immediately.
The Secretary General unequivocally condemns in the strongest possible terms today's appalling attacks on cities and towns across Ukraine. Attacks against civilian and civilian infrastructure violate international humanitarian law, are unacceptable and must stop immediately.
The United Kingdom, on the other hand, will provide Ukraine with hundreds of air defense missiles. The country's Defense Secretary Grant Shapps wrote on social media X, and I quote, "We continue to stand by Ukraine's defense, which is why today we are sending hundreds of air defense missiles to restock British gifted air defense systems capable of striking down Russian drones and missiles with incredible accuracy." End of quote. Israel has indicated no signs of scaling down its offensive in Gaza. Israeli leaders have once again reiterated that fighting will end only with the elimination of Hamas. Hamas says at least 187 died across Gaza on Friday in Israeli shelling. The militant group, whose delegation is in Cairo for truce talks, has ruled out another hostage deal until Israeli strikes stop.
There will be no prisoner swap deal or no negotiations under fire until the Israeli aggression ends. Meanwhile, we say that we are open to any initiative that can end this Israeli genocidal war. And here we have also to confirm to all those who are engaged or concerned about the post-aggression period in Gaza that this is a Palestinian internal affair and is only decided by a Palestinian leadership.
Israeli military says it is expanding operation in southern Gaza. The Palestinian Red Crescent says at least 41 have been killed in Israeli strikes over 2 days near Al-Amal hospital in the city. Meanwhile, medical officials at the Aqsa Martyrs Hospital in central Gaza say that at least 35 Palestinians were killed and dozens of others have been injured here in the past day. Visuals from the area show destruction caused in residential areas. IDF claims to have destroyed a network of tunnels in one of the hideout apartments belonging to Yahya Sinwar, Hamas's leader in Gaza City. The IDF say the apartment was part of a long and branching tunnel network that was used by senior Hamas officials. It added that the tunnel shaft they discovered led to a 218-meter-long tunnel that contained an electrical network, ventilation and sewage infrastructure, as well as a prayer room. Another video by IDF shows weapons being found in a child's room.
ובתוכו רימוני רסס, 5 רימוני רסס, מחסניות, כדורים וקאטרים. יש לנו זה בתא הראשון, בקטע הראשונה. בתא השני ריכזנו כבר את הווסט של הפעיל מוכן להפעלה. בתוך עמדת הכנה, סדר עם שבבים. ריבוי גדול מאוד של שבבים לטובת הדבר הזה בחיבור עם החוברת חבלה. תדירי מחשבים מפורקים שבעצם הוציאו להם את הכונן הקשיח ואת הכבלים הרלוונטיים כדי לייצר מהם מערכת חכמה לטובת הדבר הזה.
On the other hand, the militant group's latest video shows its fighters engaging in combat in Gaza. There are flare-ups on other fronts as well. The Israeli army said early Saturday that it was carrying out strikes in Syria after 2 rockets fired from the country fell into territory under its control. IDF did not confirm the location where the rockets fell, but Israel does consider Golan Heights in northern part of Gaza as part of its territory. Israel also says it has completed a series of extensive strikes against Hezbollah targets in Lebanon. Hezbollah-Israel cross-firing, which has escalated since the war broke out, has so far been limited to the areas at the border. However, fears remain of a spillover. As Israel's offensive intensifies, South Africa has accused Israel of genocidal acts in Gaza at the International Court of Justice. South Africa filed an application to start proceedings against Israel. Israel has rejected the case with disgust in its response. Israel's foreign ministry says South Africa's claim lacks both a factual and a legal basis, and that the country is cooperating with Hamas. In another major development, the United States has bypassed another congressional review to approve a $147.5 million sale of high explosive artillery munitions and related equipment to Israel. Let's talk about China now. The country has appointed the former naval chief Dong Zhan as its new defense minister. Falling into the classic trend of the country, Minister Dong Zhan will be taking over from his predecessor Li Shangfu, who was last seen in August and has been missing ever since. The new appointment comes at a time of increased Chinese assertion over Taiwan and in the strategic South China Sea. In fact, it also comes on the heels of high-level diplomatic talks between the US and China that were tabled early this week. The takeover was announced by China's top legislators at a meeting of the National People's Congress in Beijing on Friday. The 62-year-old Dong Zhan was made the commander of the Navy in August 2021. Notably, he has also served as the deputy commander of China's Southern Theater Command. The theater's operational area includes the South China Sea, which is largely claimed by China. Previously, Dong Zhan also served as the vice commander of the East Sea Fleet of the Eastern Theater Command, responsible for tackling conflicts with Taiwan. Earlier in the year, senior officials were dismissed from the country's top positions, which also included the removal of Qin Gang, China's former foreign minister. No reasons over the dismissals of either Qin Gang or Li Shangfu have been made public. Further, other sackings also surfaced in the meeting on Friday. As per local media reports, at least 9 other military officials were also removed from the standing committee. Moreover, 3 executives of the government's missile defense firms were taken off their top advisory body just prior to the meeting. The key role of China's defense minister is to be the face of People's Liberation Army and other forces in their engagement with the media or the public. The more important aspect is to engage the US military to lower the risk of fueling conflict over Taiwan and the South China Sea, the current hotbed of confrontations in that region. Indian Prime Minister Narendra Modi is slated to visit India's temple city of Ayodhya today. While the city undergoes its biggest transformation yet, the Prime Minister is all set to inaugurate a new railway station and a new airport in the city. The Prime Minister's visit to this temple city comes ahead of the grand inauguration ceremony at the Ram Mandir, which is scheduled for the 22nd of January next year. The Chief Minister of the Indian state of Uttar Pradesh has stated that the Prime Minister will be welcomed by over 1,400 artists in Ayodhya. These performers will present folk art and cultural programs at a total of 40 stages that will be set up across various locations. Let's take a look at Prime Minister Modi's itinerary in Ayodhya today. First up, the inauguration of a redeveloped Ayodhya railway station. The 3-story modern station is equipped with lifts, escalators, food plazas, shops, cloakrooms, childcare rooms and waiting halls. From there, the Prime Minister will flag off a new series of superfast trains called Amrit Bharat. after which the Prime Minister will inaugurate the newly built Maharishi Valmiki International Airport. This airport will have the capacity to handle 1 million passengers annually. The terminal building of this airport will showcase the architecture of the upcoming Ram Temple. In addition to this, the Prime Minister will participate in a public event where he will lay foundation of multiple development projects worth 15,700 crore rupees in the station. These projects include 4 newly redeveloped, widened and beautified roads for development of Ayodhya and its adjacent areas. New Delhi has formally requested Islamabad to hand over Hafiz Saeed, the founder of the terror group Lashkar-e-Taiba. Pakistan's Foreign Ministry received the official request from the Indian government urging initiation of the legal process. According to India's Ministry of External Affairs, India conveyed a request along with relevant supporting documents to the government of Pakistan.
As you are aware, the person in question is wanted in numerous cases in India. He is also a UN proscribed terrorist. In this regard, we have conveyed a request along with relevant supporting documents to the government of India to extradite him, government of Pakistan, to extradite him to India to face trial in a particular case.
In response to which, spokesperson of Ministry of Foreign Affairs in Pakistan said Pakistan received a request from the Indian authorities seeking Saeed's extradition in a money laundering case. She added, and I quote, "It is pertinent to note that no bilateral extradition treaty exists between Pakistan and India." End of quote. Hafiz Saeed was the mastermind of 26/11 Mumbai terror attacks that were carried out by 10 Lashkar-e-Taiba gunmen armed with automatic weapons and hand grenades. The terrorists targeted civilians at several prominent sites in the southern part of Mumbai. At least 174 people, including 20 security force personnel and 26 foreign nationals, were killed. Over 300 people were injured. 9 of the 10 terrorists were killed and 1 was arrested. Now, back in 2018, VK Singh, the then junior foreign minister, briefed the Indian parliament on Hafiz Saeed. The minister stated India has handed over material linking the Mumbai terror attacks to elements in Pakistan. Islamabad admitted that the attacks were planned and launched from Pakistan. The minister added the government of India sent a letter rogatory to the government of Pakistan for assistance in investigation, including against Hafiz Saeed and his affiliates. While India is demanding Hafiz Saeed's handover in a new money laundering case, New Delhi has been consistently stressing on the need for Pakistan to take credible, irreversible and verifiable action to end cross-border terrorism against India. India expects Pakistan to fulfill assurances given at the highest level in 2004 and reiterated several times that the territory under its control will not be allowed to be used for terrorism. New York is getting ready for demonstrations ahead of New Year's Eve celebration. City Mayor Eric Adams has announced preparations to secure Times Square. More than 1,000 visitors are expected to gather at the venue this Sunday. In addition to the thousands of officers who will be out and about, police are also planning on watching above them.
We will be out here with our canines, our horsebacks, our drones, our helicopters, our boats. The full complement of our public safety apparatus will be on display. Now, we're urging everyone, if you are here for the first time, you know you're not going to drive during this weekend. Public transportation is open. We are really encouraging everyone to use mass transit, and there's certain items you cannot bring into the safety zone, like large backpacks and alcoholic beverage are strictly prohibited. So please check before coming in so you won't be turned away.
The mayor has reiterated his confidence in his public safety team. According to the police, there are no credible threats to New Year's Eve festivities or New York in general. The Brics Club of emerging market countries is expected to double on January 1st when Saudi Arabia, Iran, the United Arab Emirates, Ethiopia and Egypt join the group. In August, the current members of the group, Brazil, Russia, India, China and South Africa, invited 6 other countries to join them. This alliance would link some of the world's biggest energy suppliers and the largest consumers among emerging nations. Only Argentina refused the offer after President Javier Milei, who took office this month, overruled his predecessor's membership application. Anil Suklal, Pretoria's ambassador to the bloc, said that the 5 invitees sent senior-level representatives to the BRICS Sherpa meeting in Durban, South Africa, earlier this month. Suklal said they actively participated in the event, which is a clear indication that they have accepted the invitation to join. He added that representatives from the new members will attend a Sherpa meeting on January 30th in Moscow. Economist Jim O'Neill of Goldman Sachs first used the term BRIC in 2001 to highlight the rapid economic expansion of Brazil, Russia, India and China. The phrase was meant to provide investors with hope amid market gloom after the September 11 terrorist attacks in the United States. After hosting its inaugural Leaders Summit in 2009, the organization extended an invitation to South Africa to join a year later, adding the letter S. According to a news outlet, Russian Foreign Affairs Minister Sergei Lavrov said this week that over 30 nations wish to forge connections with the group. Besides India, the BRICS has lagged their rivals in developing markets over the past 5 years. Many international investors now avoid investing in Russia due to US-led sanctions. China is amidst an economic crisis of sorts, and many Chinese industries, particularly tech firms, are also subject to investment prohibitions or penalties.
प्रधानमंत्री को देखने की अगर उनके साथ सेल्फी
There have been some incredible highs that athletes have seen in 2023. But we've also lost some sporting legends. This is our tribute to those who left us this year. Time now for some news from the world of entertainment. Renowned South African playwright and producer Mbogeni Ngema has died in a car crash at the age of 68. He was known for creating the Broadway hit Sarafina. Ngema was killed in a head-on accident while returning from a funeral. Sarafina premiered on Broadway in 1988. It was adapted into a musical drama starring Whoopi Goldberg in 1992 and became an international success. Comedian Kevin Hart is suing his former assistant and YouTuber Tasha K for extortion and invasion of privacy. Hart has accused Tasha K of trying to scheme him out of $250 million. The YouTuber allegedly threatened to publish an interview of Hart and his former assistant. Hart stated that his former assistant had made some false claims in the interview. She claimed that Hart was facing criminal charges for allegedly recording one of his sexual encounters, a statement that the comedian has vehemently denied. And that's the latest on this edition of WION World DNA, this weekend edition. My name is Eric Njoka. Stay with us.
This week on Melts.
Israel woke up to a barrage of thousands of rockets fired from the Gaza Strip.
Hostilities have broken out between Israel and Palestine, and the tensions that had been gathering steam over the course of the last several weeks and months.
The siren has gone off. I don't know if you can hear in the background what's going on. I'm going into the shelter now. So it's a very, very serious situation here across Israel. It's a state of emergency.